How do you move from the energy of I want to the certainty of I have? We're going to get to the bottom of this and more in today's video. This is the law of attraction like you've never heard it before. Hey, it's Andrew, otherwise known as that guy who wrote the last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read. And if you want to check out my book on Amazon, you can very easily do so by going to lastlawofattractionbook.com. But before you do that, do me a favor, make sure to smash that like button if you've been enjoying this content up to this point, and stick around to the end of this video because you may have noticed in prior videos I've been featuring a thought of the day to help you take into your day to help you manifest what you want more easily. And I'll have another one of those thoughts at the end of today's video. But first, let's get into the core content of the day. And obviously, we are tackling the concept of I want versus I have. And before even diving into that, let me read an email for you that actually prompted this video. This is from Hans, and the email reads, "Hey Andrew, I hope you're doing well. Your YouTube is amazing, by the way. The content is really powerful, so thank you for it." Thank you, Hans. I appreciate that. "I think I need some help with the element of moving from I want to I have. Maybe it's the most difficult part. Almost everyone is used to I want thinking, and after practicing the techniques for pretty long now, I still predominantly go back to the default of I want, and I notice that it sabotages my results. Trying to change it in the moment adds friction because it feels fake and untrue, and it feels unpleasant and forced to do. Mostly it still happens unconsciously, with me realizing later on that I had been moving through my day in that old default mode. My guess is that this is challenging for many people, so if you need a topic for a video, here's my suggestion." Well, Hans, thank you so much for the question. And, I've got to tell you, as I was trying to read it, there were a number of possibilities that were popping into my mind because, honestly, I had a number of interpretations of what you might mean by your letter to me. So I'm going to be very thorough, probably too thorough in my response to you, just to make sure that not only I address your questions, but hopefully, ideally, I also address any other potential questions that other viewers might be having around this concept. So before diving into the core content of your question, there are two important things that I want to bring up first because that will set up the proper context and maybe even answer some of your questions for you right away. The first one, of course, is the difference between I want and I have, because, a lot of people, they have this fixed point of view of the concept of I want, but what does that even mean? When you say I want, or when anyone else says I want, do they mean I want with a sense of anticipation and enthusiasm and gratitude, meaning I want this and I know it's on the way? Or do you mean I want, or do they mean I want from a lackful state of view? A lackful mindset of saying I want this with frustration and impatience and wondering why it's not here yet and reaffirming the focus and energy of not having it. Which is your version of I want? Because that's a critical piece here, because technically from the sense of I want with a sense of enthusiasm and confidence, that's not a bad thing to kind of put out there. Now, I feel that the concept or the idea of I have is stronger, just the way, I did a couple videos ago. Acting as if is one thing, but living as if is even stronger. The acting as if is still powerful. It's still an effective thing. It's just why not choose a higher level? So from my vantage point, I want with enthusiasm and gratitude and a good sense and a good feeling. That's really good. It's just that you want to go to I have as a higher level if you just want to be more efficient, but it's not a requirement. That's the key about all this. You don't need to be in the mindset of I have all the time in order to get what you want. Because technically, when you think about it, if you're in a sense of gratitude, a state of gratitude in the I want section, you're still putting out the vibes of what you want and you're inviting it back in. It's just basically a situation where it might take a little bit longer, but it's still on the way to you. So that's the core piece here. Regardless of I want or I have, wherever state that you're in, are you doing it from a sense of gratitude? Are you appreciating what's around you? And are you confident that what you want is on the way? Because I'll tell you, not only is it on the way, but it already exists. The moment you think of something that you want, energetically, it snaps into existence. It really does. It's already there energetically. The only difference is you're not experiencing it yet in your three-dimensional physical reality, but it's there. It's been created, and now you are on your way to it, where there's going to be a point where you do meet up with it physically to match the vibration and energy that you put out when you desired it in the first place. So keep in mind through all this, just to make sure you feel better, which is the key part of this process, what you want already does exist, and it really is already on its way to you. It really is. And the only question of how or when you're going to receive it, or how soon you're going to receive it, or how easily you're going to receive it, is if you're in gratitude or not, if you're putting out the energy of having it or not. And again, the whole question of I want versus I have, for me, it's just stepping stones of power and basically stepping stones of impact. But either one from a place of gratitude, it's giving you what you want. Now, let's talk about something else here before we dive into your question. Let's talk about the ego, because I don't know at this point how many people that are watching these videos, how many people have read my book. If you've read the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read, you are already familiar with the ego the way I define it. But for those that are not yet, let me put it this way. Your ego, as I define it, it's that part of your mind that only has one job in this world, and that's to keep you alive. And that's good or bad news depending on your circumstances, because your ego, even though it's not stronger than the subconscious mind, it's way stronger than the conscious mind. And whatever money problems you have right now, whatever relationship problems you have right now, even whatever health problems you might have right now, your ego knows in this moment you are alive. And what it doesn't want to do is it doesn't want to risk the status quo that might be achieved or might change even in the state of an improvement that you think that you want. Because for all the ego knows is, even though you want to be rich and famous, it might think that, well, when you become famous, you're going to get a stalker, and that's a threat to your survival. Or for all the ego knows is, when you become rich, family is going to come out of the woodwork, distant family that you've never met, to try to sue you for your home. That's a threat to your survival. So your ego loves you, but it's always trying to defend you and defend your reality, keeping you stuck in place when it thinks it's keeping you safe in place, because right now you're alive. As far as the ego is concerned, it's done its job by keeping you in the state that you already are in because you're still living. This is very important in the context of improving your life, whether you're engaging in the law of attraction methods, or you're doing fitness, or you're doing any other thing, any other aspect of your life, any other aspect of yourself that you're trying to improve. Your ego is technically going to fight you on it until you reach that point, and that it then sees that it's safe, and then it will fight to defend that. But until you get there, you've almost got to kind of grit your teeth through the process, or you can do what I advise and strategically bypass the ego, access the subconscious mind, which is way more powerful, and you do that through the methods in my book or the methods that I teach on this YouTube channel. Any visualization, any gratitude, any scripting that's going to leap over to ego, it's going to reach the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is going to do a lot of that heavy lifting of broadcasting that frequency out to the universe to have it mirrored back, and also governing your actions, your thoughts, your behaviors, or feelings. That is basically going to prompt and invite more of those good things until you're at the state that you want to be. One more thing, since we're on the topic of the methods here, at what point does I want come into play with any of the methods that I teach? In other words, if you're talking about scripting, I want never really comes into play, because when you start scripting, you're already coming from a place of I have. It's actually embedded in the process itself. You say, I am so happy and grateful for, I'm so happy about this, I'm so excited about this. You're already in that state. I'm so happy and grateful for my promotion. I love my new corner office. I love my awesome parking space. I love all these people that I'm working with, that I'm supervising, that are doing such a good job. I am in that state. I have it. I've already leapt, whatever the right word is. I've already gone from I want to I have instantly through the process. So in the context of scripting, whenever you do scripting, I don't see where I want would even come into play. Well, okay, let's talk about visualization. Where does I want to come into play for that either? Because again, when you're visualizing and you're looking at those moments, you're already in the I have state. You've already transcended I want. What about gratitude? Same thing. You're being grateful for this thing. You are already in the place of I have. You've transcended, you've bypassed, you've gone way past I want. In fact, the only place that I see the I want coming into play is when you're making your list of what you want to begin with before you even do these methods. You say, here's the list of the things that I want, blah, 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 blah. And you can easily bypass that by making a list of, here are the things that I gratefully receive. Here are the things that I'm grateful for. Here are the things that I'm happy for. Thank you, universe, for these things. You can just change the texture of that list that you're making. So far right now, I really haven't discovered yet where you are putting I want into the equation, but we're going to maybe get there as we as we tackle through and as we try to cover more of your question here. But we really want to establish that first. In these methods themselves, we have not yet even encountered the I want energy. We are already automatically in the I have energy. I have this thing. I'm grateful for it. Therefore, I am broadcasting a more powerful signal, which, by the way, if I was in the I want stage, again, if I was coming at that from a sense of gratitude and enthusiasm and anticipation, I'm still serving myself. I'm still inviting what I want. I'm still instructing the universe with the right blueprints to give me the things that I desire. So really just to sneak in the answer of how do I go from I want to I have, it's through the use of the methods themselves. Which finally brings me to your email. Let's dissect this a little bit here and notice what you've said to me. This one sentence that really sticks out, you say, I still predominantly go back to the default of I want, and I notice that it sabotages my results. Again, my question to you is where or when is this happening? Is this happening just throughout the day? If that's the case, well, first of all, are you doing those methods throughout the day? Or are you just trying to force the universe to bend to your will? Are you trying to consciously and intentionally invite more things and use the words I want over and over and over again? Like, how is this actually happening? Because no matter what's going on throughout your day, well, just the fact that you've done those methods for the first 5 minutes, you've already set the vibrational tone of what you want, so you already have the momentum that you need to achieve that's going to invite what you want. And one of the only main things that's going to hold you back is what you said there, that viewpoint, that opinion, that illusion and that lie that you're telling yourself that you are predominantly sabotaging what you've got going on. The fact that you think you're sabotaging it is putting out the energy of that. But if you're already doing the methods in the moment, which again, they already have the energy of I have, you are doing all the energetic work that you need to. And the only thing you need to do from this point on is not get in your way. Meaning, if you find yourself going to the place of I want throughout the day, know that that is okay. Know that it's not holding you back because you've already put in so much energy, so much investment. You've energetically invested the right amount of energy and intention in those moments where you're doing your gratitude, your scripting, your visualization, or whatever for those 5 minutes early on in the day. And whatever follows, it's just fine. This is why it's okay when people, they start doing this and they do the methods and they feel good in the moment. You've got to feel good in the moment. And then something happens in their day which makes them feel bad and they're worried that all their momentum is gone. But it hasn't, because again, this is just a process. And the more that you kind of let it happen, the more you let the momentum build up, the more things will happen for you and unfold for you. And again, you can kind of slow them down by assuming and falling for the lie that you're stopping yourself and that you're sabotaging yourself. But if you let that go, if you're willing to say, listen, I am putting this out there and I'm going to let the universe pleasantly surprise me with both the speed and the quality with which it gives me what I want, then you're on the right path. Now, if this is just a situation where you're looking back on your day and you're realizing retroactively or retrospectively that you've been thinking about these things that you want from a lackful state of mind, well, first of all, forgive yourself. That's okay. Second of all, remember, positive thoughts and feelings are so much more powerful than negative ones. So again, you've already done the energetic investment that you need before that even happened. But also, if that's happening, anytime you do notice it happen, say, you know what? That's okay, because the want that I have here, it's telling the universe, it's feeding that energy. And all I have to do is say, you know what? I accept and embrace this coming to me now. I am no longer holding myself back. I am an open, walking, living, breathing invitation to all the things that I want. And this all comes back to basically strategically putting yourself in positive emotions only when you notice that you're in negative ones. When you notice it, that's when you can be proactive. That's where you could be strategic and say, all right, what can I do? What can I tell myself? What can I feel? What can I focus on that's going to make me feel better? Because whether you're coming from a state of I want or I have or whatever it might be, the universe always hears you. It always knows what you want. It always is going to give you what you want based on your emotions, meaning as long as you feel good, I want versus I have doesn't matter. As long as you feel good, what you want is on the way. But again, you will slow it down if you're telling yourself that you're sabotaging yourself, because that's instructing the universe, all right, I guess this person is not ready for this. They are telling themselves that they're not getting it. Therefore, I'm going to hold it back a little bit longer. So you want to let that go. You want to let go of the illusion that you're sabotaging yourself, because the only thing that's sabotaging you is you telling yourself that you're sabotaging you. The whole thing of I want, that's not sabotaging you. Even if you're feeling bad, even if you're feeling lackful, well, that's a thing where, again, you do the work in the beginning of the day to get more momentum and more energy on that. And those things will happen less and less frequently. When you focus more and more gratitude, have gratitude for the fact that you are cognizant of it. Have gratitude that you notice it, because if you notice it, you're aware. If you're aware, you're at cause, you're at power, you're at agency to do something about it. And that's something that you can do is be grateful for what you have in the meantime. Be grateful that things are on the way. Be grateful in any way, shape, or form that feels good to you, because it's all about the positive motion above everything else. One quick little side note, earlier when I had this channel kind of like building up, I interviewed Michael Samuels, who wrote Just Ask the Universe. And we had a brief conversation. I don't know if it was when I was on his show or he was on mine, but the whole question of I want versus I have, in his book, he only focused on the terms I want, but it's the meaning behind I want that's important, because he wrote out this list of all the things that he wanted under the heading of I want, and he got all of them, because the way he wrote I want, it was with the mindset and the understanding of I want this universe and I'm expecting with gratitude that you're giving this to me. Not I want this, why won't you give this to me? I'm impatient, I don't understand why it's not working, what's wrong with me? You see the distinction there, you see the difference. It's not the words, it's the intent and the energy and the focus behind the words. It's the meaning that you assign them. Just the way you assign meaning to a word like sabotage. For me personally, when I say I have things, it feels stronger to me personally. It helps me feel better about it. So I can kind of get away with the words I want, but since I have is so much more powerful and it feels so much better, I choose to lean into that. And I advise people to do the same thing only if it feels good to them. And I structure my methods so that it takes them there automatically. So again, I ask you, where is this I want energy really popping up? Is it something where you just can't stop thinking about the things that you want? Is it a thing where you're impatient and you're frustrated, which is basically saying that you don't trust that things are on the way? Whatever's going on here, where's this coming from? What is the focus? What is the ideas? What is the intent? What is the energy of this that's really holding you stuck in place? Because if you can look at that more closely, you can get around it very easily. And if you can't get your way around this, if you can't outthink this, just understand that if you just keep leaning into gratitude, if you keep leaning into methods where you are coming from the place of I have, which again, it's automatic in the moment, it's going to overpower that other stuff. And again, you're slowing it down, but you can't stop it from coming as long as you actually desire it, as long as you're welcoming it, and as long as you really are putting out that positive energy, even for just 5 minutes a day to start your day off right. Now, I realize that is a very long rant. I had so much to say there. So, anyone watching right now, do me a favor, comment below. Is this clicking for you? Is this making sense? Is there a certain point that I made that really resonated with you? Because anything that really clicks with you, it might be important to note in the comments, because someone else watching, they might want to see that point reaffirmed in the comments. They might want to see what's clicking for other people. They might want to be inspired by other viewers. So any comment that you put, whether it's answering that question or anything else positive, that's going to get you entered into this month's contest, where one lucky winner will walk away with lifetime access to Gravity of the Cosmos, my advanced level full immersion guided program for manifesting your every desire through the law of attraction. And if you want to learn more about the program, you can very easily go to gravityofthecosmos.com, where I have a free training on 3 secrets for manifesting your desires faster than you ever thought possible. Or you can actually sample the program through my book, The Last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read, because there's a link in this book to special bonuses, one of which includes the first few days of Gravity of the Cosmos, free of charge, so that you can try it before you buy it. And you can very easily check out my book by going to lastlawofattractionbook.com, which will auto forward to the listing on Amazon. And before I get to my final thought of the day, which I hope you'll be able to use to more easily manifest the things that you want, I just want to take a quick minute out and thank one of my awesome readers who recently left feedback on the book. So today's spotlight feedback, a 5-star rave review left by Cindy on May 9, 2021, with the subject heading, "This is the last book you'll ever need." And it reads, "I am so excited and thrilled with this book. It is changing my life every day. I got the audio and the paperback so that I could highlight and make notes. I highly recommend this to everyone. It's to the point with no extra fluff to get lost in. Love, love." Cindy, thank you so much. I love that feedback. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you leaving that feedback. I appreciate you listening to the book on Audible and buying the paperback and reading it in that way. And most importantly, I really appreciate you using the content to your own benefit and your own advantage. Thank you so much. I appreciate you beyond words. And this brings us to the final thought of the day, which I think is really topical given what I've been covering so far. So our go-away thought of the day for today's video: the law of attraction is always working, whether you believe it's working or not. So the thing that you want to do for yourself, strategically speaking, is put yourself in a position to use it to your advantage and think good thoughts, think good feelings, invite good things. I really hope that you find value in that thought of the day and that you found value in this video. And if you did, do me a favor, smash that like button, let YouTube know that you also appreciate it, and be back soon, because I've got a lot more fun content on the way, which actually probably tomorrow. I think tomorrow you can expect another video then. I will look forward to seeing you next time.